Tony Stewart just leaked a project so big, so bold, and so unexpected, it might actually flip grassroots racing on its head. Let that sink in. Tony Stewart, the NASCAR legend, the Hall of Famer, the man who once ruled the Cup Series like a gladiator, has teamed up with Cleetus McFarland. Yes, that Cleetus, the wild YouTube king of burnout contests, Crown Vic chaos, and freedom-fueled car insanity. And what they're cooking behind the scenes, it's not just a collaboration, it's a full-on revolution. Now, we've seen legends and influencers cross paths before, but this is different. Tony Stewart made one phone call, Cleetus dropped one post, and the internet exploded. It all started with some curious footage. Fans spotted Stewart at the Freedom Factory with a camera crew. No racing suit, no helmet. Just that quiet, calculating look on his face, like he was scouting for something bigger than just laps. That wasn't just a visit. That was a blueprint meeting, and this didn't come out of nowhere. The history between Stewart and Cleetus goes back to early 2025. Back in February, Stewart showed up in Cleetus's hard park, the Spark Challenge. Picture this, a NASCAR champion drifting full speed into a parking spot. Burnout smoke everywhere, crowds screaming, and Stewart grinning like a kid at summer camp. You could feel the energy. That moment, that was the spark. The internet saw it and lit up with one question. When are they doing more together? Well, they did. In May, Stewart didn't just appear at a Cleetus event. He raced in the Indy 800 drag race at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. Stewart showed up and competed, not just for the fans, not for a paycheck. He was there to race. Old school fire meeting, new school flash. And the crowd absolutely lost their minds. Old NASCAR fans, standing next to teenagers in Cleetus shirts, both cheering like it was the Daytona 500. That's when people started realizing this wasn't just for fun. And then Tony said something that really made people listen. In the paddock, Stewart started talking business. He looked at Cleetus not just as a content creator, but as a business model. Tony Stewart, a guy who's built and owned NASCAR teams, was openly impressed with how much money Cleetus pulls in. More than traditional Cup teams. Let me say that again. A YouTuber's racing empire is pulling in more revenue than some of the biggest teams in stock car history. That's not just impressive, that's a wake-up call. And it comes at a time when both of these guys are shifting gears in a major way. Cleetus has already announced that in 2026 he's running a partial ARCA schedule. 5 races total, locked in for Daytona and Talladega, driving the number 30 Ford for Rhea Jones Racing. But this isn't just a stunt. This is deeply personal. He's doing it for Greg Biffle, his mentor, his friend, who tragically died in a plane crash late last year. In one emotional video, Cleetus said, "I didn't want to step foot in a NASCAR garage again after everything that happened." But he's pushing forward. He's doing it for Greg. The back of his car says, "Be like Biff," and you can feel the mission burning inside him. He doesn't just want to race, he wants to reach the Daytona 500, the crown jewel of stock car racing. And what about Tony? After Stewart Haas Racing shut down in 2024, many thought he was out for good, focused on NHRA and sprint cars, done with NASCAR. But then, out of nowhere, he drops a bomb. He's racing again, this time in the Truck Series. Stewart will be behind the wheel of the number 25 Ram truck for GMS Racing at Daytona, his first NASCAR race in a decade. The racing world hasn't stopped buzzing since. But it's not just about Tony coming back, it's how he's coming back. Ram Trucks is launching a new free agent driver program. The number 25 truck will feature a rotating lineup of drivers from all over motorsports. Think of it like a NASCAR all-star seat. And guess who the 2 biggest rumored names are? Tony Stewart and Cleetus McFarland. Ram CEO Tim Kuniskis has been coy. When asked about Cleetus or Tony joining the program, he just smiled and said, "We'll see where this all ends up." That's not a denial, that's a tease, and fans know it. The rumor mill is spinning like a burnout tire on concrete. Everyone's asking the same question. Are Tony Stewart and Cleetus McFarland building something massive together? And believe me, the clues are all there. The clues are everywhere. And none louder than what's happening at the Freedom Factory. That's Cleetus McFarland's personal racetrack in Bradenton, Florida. A 3.8-mile asphalt oval with steep 12-degree banking. Once a forgotten shell of its old self, now it's the home of absolute racing chaos. Freedom 500S, burnout battles, and 2.4-hour endurance races that look more like demolition derbies than traditional motorsports. And now, people are whispering that Tony Stewart didn't just visit the Freedom Factory, he scouted it. Think about it. Stewart's history in grassroots racing goes deep. He's a student of dirt, of ovals, of small-town tracks with big-time heart. But add Cleetus's camera power and internet army to that mix. You've got a whole new ecosystem of racing. Raw, unfiltered, and accessible. A place where fans aren't sitting behind velvet ropes. They're part of the action, right there on the fence line, screaming. Some insiders are even throwing around wild ideas like top fuel dragsters at the Freedom Factory. Yeah, you heard that right. NHRA-style fire-breathing monsters on a short track that normally sees Crown Vics rubbing doors at 50 miles per hour. On paper, it sounds insane. But when you realize that Cleetus has already redefined what's possible at his track and that Stewart owns a top fuel team, suddenly it doesn't sound so crazy. Because here's the truth. Traditional motorsports is changing. It has to change. The TV ratings are down. The grandstands aren't what they used to be. And the next generation, they're not waiting around for cable coverage. They're watching races on YouTube. They're buying tickets to burn-out competitions, not just sanctioned events. They're looking for energy, not just prestige. And nobody understands that better than Cleetus McFarland. He's not just posting car videos. He's building a culture, a movement, a fan base that shows up and spends money. And here's the scariest part for the racing establishment. It might actually work, because Stewart still has pull, still has respect. When he speaks, the old guard listens. And Cleetus, he doesn't need permission. He already has the audience, the platform, the freedom to build whatever he wants. So if they really go through with this, it's not just a race, it's a statement, a declaration that motorsports doesn't have to die a slow death behind corporate walls and dusty traditions. It can evolve, it can thrive, and it can reach people again. So yeah, it started with a phone call, then a post. Now it's become a wildfire of speculation, hype, and hope. Hope that two very different roads, Tony Stewart's paved with trophies and tradition, and Cleetus McFarland's lit with burnout smoke and YouTube glory, might merge into something that brings fans back to the track. Because let's be real, racing isn't just about who finishes first, it's about feeling something. And when Stewart and Cleetus stand on the same stage, you feel it. So now it's your turn. What do you think they're building? A one-time show, a new racing league, or something even crazier? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's hear it. Because whatever is coming next, it's going to change everything.